Raila Amolo Odinga, a name that has echoed across Kenya's political landscape for more than half a century. A man whose journey, from the hills of Maseno to the heart of African statesmanship, is written in struggle, resilience, and hope. He was born on January 7, 1945, in Maseno, Western Kenya, to Mary Juma Odinga and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, the legendary freedom fighter and Kenya's first vice president. From childhood, politics and purpose flowed through his veins. In the Odinga home, talk of justice, equality, and freedom was a daily lesson. Raila attended Miranda High School, before earning a scholarship that took him far from home, to East Germany in 1965. There, at the Technical University of Magdeburg, he studied mechanical engineering, but learned much more than machines. He absorbed ideas of social justice and Pan-Africanism, the belief that Africa must stand tall, united and free. In 1970, he returned to a young and hopeful Kenya. He lectured at the University of Nairobi, then joined the Kenya Bureau of Standards, rising to deputy director. But beneath that calm academic life burned a quiet defiance. Kenya was under one-party rule, and dissent came at a heavy price. In 1982, after a failed coup against President Daniel Arap Moi, Raila Odinga was accused of involvement and detained without trial. He would spend almost 9 years in prison over 3 separate detentions. Years marked by solitude, interrogation, and suffering. Yet, he emerged not broken, but steeled. The fire had only grown brighter. When multi-party democracy finally returned in 1991, Raila stepped forward as both survivor and reformer. He fled briefly to Norway for safety, then returned to a Kenya stirring with change. In 1992, he won a seat as Member of Parliament for Lang'ata, launching a political career that would define a generation. He founded the National Development Party, which later merged with KANU, then splintered again to form the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM. In 1997, he ran for president and finished third, but his star was rising. By 2002, Raila became the architect of Kenya's greatest political shift. His famous declaration, Kibaki Tosha, united the opposition and ended 4 decades of KANU rule. When Mwai Kibaki became president, Raila served as Minister for Roads, Public Works and Housing, expanding infrastructure and pushing for reform. But the calm was short-lived. The 2007 election plunged Kenya into its darkest hour. Raila, running under ODM, was widely believed to have won. But disputed results and claims of rigging led to widespread violence. Over 1,000 dead, hundreds of thousands displaced. A power-sharing government was formed. In April 2008, Raila Odinga was sworn in as Kenya's second prime minister, serving alongside President Kibaki in a fragile coalition. During his tenure, Kenya achieved a milestone: the 2010 Constitution, a charter that devolved power to the counties and redefined governance. It was one of the crowning achievements of his career. After 2013, with the premiership abolished, Raila became the unyielding voice of opposition. He ran again in 2013, in 2017, and in 2022, each time challenging the system, each time claiming the will of the people had been denied. To his supporters, he was Baba, the father of democracy. To his critics, an eternal challenger who refused to quit. But none could doubt his endurance. In 2018, the world watched as he shook hands with President Uhuru Kenyatta, a move few thought possible. The handshake ended months of unrest. And though controversial, it restored peace. That same year, the African Union appointed him High Representative for Infrastructure Development, a continental role he held until 2023, championing roads, rail, and unity across Africa. In 2024, Raila announced his bid to lead the African Union Commission, a final ambition to crown his decades of service. But in February 2025, he lost the vote to Mahamoud Ali Yusuf of Djibouti. Months later, in October 2025, while in India receiving Ayurvedic treatment, Raila Odinga suffered a cardiac arrest and passed away at the age of 80. His death sent shockwaves through Kenya and beyond. From Kisumu to Nairobi, Addis Ababa to Accra, the continent mourned a man who had spent his life fighting for its people. Raila Amolo Odinga's life was not defined by the office he held, but by the struggles he endured, by his faith in democracy and his refusal to surrender. He was the embodiment of Kenya's long, turbulent journey toward freedom and fairness. To history, he remains a bridge between generations, a man who believed that power must serve the people, and that justice, though delayed, is never denied.
Raila Amolo Odinga.
Engineer, revolutionary,
Statesman.